everyone. My name is Daniil Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
It's another trophy for this remarkable young Norwegian, a fifth ATP Tour title this year.
It's a master in Miami and the first from Poland to win a Masters 1000.
You are the first Italian to lose to a final here at Wimbledon. Sunday is a big day for Italian sport. Congratulations.
Rublev is the champion in Rotterdam. The Russian claims a fourth 500 series event in a row.
You try to describe your feeling reaching at 22 years old, your first ever Grand Slam final here at Roland Garros, an incredible achievement.
It is a fifth Masters 1000 title for the German, who is just brimming with confidence right now.
Unbelievable mastery of this whole court.
Ladies and gentlemen, your champion, Daniil MEDVEDEV.
He has done it. Major title number 20. One shift is over. He's caught Roger and Rafa.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It's the semi-finals of the Nitto ATP Tour Finals. We've got Casper RUUD, the Norwegian. He's the first Norwegian to ever make it to the semi-finals, but he's up against Daniil MEDVEDEV, the reigning champion of the Tour Finals. Hasn't lost. He's on an 8-match winning streak since the 2019 one. They are kicking off. It is Casper RUUD who is serving first in this matchup. Let me just try and bring up the scoreboard. Casper RUUD started pretty well, though. Well done. 2 good serves. Had a bit of a fun one last night, didn't we? Oh, we got Serjan in. He's saying, hi, Ben. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. How is everybody doing? Are you all pumped for this one? Who are you predicting to win? Send me your score predictions in the live chat right now. Right, well, I'm sure I can see which way most people are going to be putting their money on this match. Just have to wait and see if I'm right. I've got a feeling there's a lot of people going to be saying Medvedev to love here today. And based upon their head-to-heads, I wouldn't blame you. They've only played each other twice before, and Daniil Medvedev has won to love. So he's played him once on the grass and once in, I believe it's the ATP Cup, and that was in beginning of 2020. 2 close sets, though, 6-3 and 7-6, 8-6 in the tie break in the second set. On grass, slightly more comfortable. I wouldn't say that's Casper RUUD's wheelhouse, though. And there you go. Casper RUUD getting off to an absolute flying start here. And he's got us a game to love to start it. Let's do this. Right, we have John Silk is going to be joining us. I just need to bring him into proceedings. Just bear with me 2 ticks. 1 second. Just bear with me. Just got to do a few little bits and bobs just to let him in. 1 second. Excuse me. I will be back with you as soon as possible. Right. Okay. Right. There was a little bit of a line call being disputed there. I'm just going to be going with a neutral background for this one. Sorry if I'm lagging a little bit. I think I've got quite a lot of things open. I'll try and close down a few things. See if this will aid this. Oh, what's going on there? Hi to Kathy, one of our patrons in, saying I dreamt about the buttons. Oh, well, it was a bit of a button bonanza last night, wasn't it? Matthew saying if Ruud takes more than 4 games in any set, I'll be very surprised. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Excuse me. Try not to cough into the mic. Very rude of me. I'm just going to close down a few tabs, guys. Sorry. I think there's just too much going on my PC at the moment. 30 love Medvedev. Maybe I should have reset it for a bit. We've got another interesting match, which is going to be playing today. It's kicking off in precisely 1 minute's time over in Brazil. The Cerundolo brothers go head-to-head against each other. Second time they've ever played in a competitive match. When we spoke to Francisco, he said that he won their only match they played against each other. Will he win it again? The older brother getting one over on the younger brother, but the younger brother, the higher-ranked player at the moment. It's an ace from Medvedev, and we started off this semi-final with 2 games to love. Good start there. 2 games to love to get us kicked off. Right, bear with me. I'm going to have to close a load of stuff down. I'm still lagging. Come on, mate. That's a bit better. Right. 2 games to love. 2 games in. Doesn't get any better, does it? There's still some more tabs open. But there's still some other stuff I can close down. Oh, we've got John Silk waiting in the wings. Silky, silky, silky. Is he ready? Yeah, he's ready when we are. Okay, John Silk enters the arena. How are you doing, sir?
Good afternoon. How are you going?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Excited for this semi-final. I know you're a bit disappointed that Zverev Djokovic has been pushed back to the evening. So we're going to have to deal with this little Norwegian guy who's in his first semi-finals of a tour final.
Yeah, right. I mean, there were sort of 3 heavyweights, if you like, coming into the tournament, and they've all made the semis. So there was always going to be a 4th one, if you like, and that was always going to be a slight surprise. And yeah, I mean, surprise to me anyway, but less so for you, right? Did you call Ruud going through?
I did, sir. Thank you. Sorry for my bragging yesterday. I just had to get one back over on JG because I know that he would have never let me hear the end of it had he predicted it again. So glad that I got it right this year. He got all of the semi-finalists right last year. So
good. He got all 4 last year. If I have to shoot off for 30 seconds, it's because my coffee is boiling over. Okay,
no worries,
if I suddenly mid-sentence just quit the stream,
no worries, man.
I think I can hear it. Actually, I think I can hear it. I'm going to shoot. 10 seconds.
Don't worry about it, man. You go for it. That's Mr. John Silk joining us to cover Medvedev versus Ruud. No more games to love in this game. Casper Ruud 30-15. I'll try and take you through a little bit more of the play-by-play now, just to keep you updated with what's going on in the match. So another good serve there from Casper Ruud. So we got 40-15. Ruud started well here. I'm impressed so far. He's not letting the nerves get to him, not letting Medvedev bully him. But as we know, it's all about the business ends of the sets. I've got a feeling.
So I've seen the last 2 service games. Has it been pretty comfortable throughout?
Game to love, both the first ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what's your prediction for today, by the way? I'm sure you've told the audience already, but
yeah, I mean, I can only really see it in Medvedev in 2 is the only way it sort of plays out in, I think, anyone's minds, to be honest. But I think we could see at least one close set. I think Ruud could run him close maybe in the first set, but I think Medvedev in the second might just run away with it. Maybe a 6-4, 6-2, something like that.
Is it fair to say that Ruud's year until now has kind of gone under the radar for the casual tennis observer?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're a casual fan and you're not watching the 250s, you probably don't even know who Casper Ruud is, unless you saw him in a Grand Slam at some point playing against Federer or something at Roland Garros or something like that. Yeah, I agree.
Did he lose to Federer at Roland Garros? Did he?
He lost to Federer at Roland Garros in the, I think it was in the 4th round, not the last Roland Garros, the one, I think it was the one before.
Oh, so, okay, like 3 years ago.
Something like that, yeah. Because I remember I was on the Ruud hype train. He was playing so well, and I was like, "He's gonna beat Federer," and then he just lost in straight sets. Obviously, I got overhyped on that.
But there was like probably 3, 4, 5 years with the big three that you sort of were watching other players and seeing, say, a Casper Ruud or someone like that, or whoever. I remember Tsitsipas when he got to the semi-finals before he met Nadal in Australia, and you thought it was going to be a really tough one, and then just wipe the floor with him, basically.
I know. Happens too often, doesn't it? Sometimes the occasion's too much, I think.
I think it did back in the day, but we are looking at a very different tennis world today, and now Medvedev has brought this to use.
He has. He's just starting to warm up, it would appear. I think Casper Ruud, he had his hands full with Andrei Rublev yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, at lunchtime yesterday. And that one was a really great match, but
it was,
what Medvedev can do compared to Rublev is completely different, and that's the reason I worry for Casper Ruud, because he had to play some incredible shot. If you hadn't seen the match yesterday, or if you get to see some highlights of the Rublev match, some of the rallies were actually incredible. Like that, some of the shots that Casper Ruud played to win points, I've never seen him do before on a hard court, especially.
I do think it was a tactic yesterday of Ruud's. I was lucky enough to see that match because I think it's been one of the best matches, possibly the tournament, if not the best.
Yeah.
I just think that there was a point midway through the second set. I mean, he lost his serve at the beginning of the second set, and it was kind of looking like a fairly rudimentary or comfortable victory for Rublev as Medvedev brings up break point. But you're right, he just went lights out tennis, and it worked for him.
Yeah, and all these people who are sort of calling him out, saying he's strictly a clay court. Oh, that one was a good shot, but it's been called out. Medvedev went to challenge, and Ruud thinks that's no way that's out. I thought it was in. Everyone applauded. I thought it was in at first look.
I thought it was in.
Out.
Let's have a look.
I thought
it's in
the line. Yeah, it's definitely in. Like half the ball clearly.
Yeah,
and Medvedev challenged it because he thought it was going to be called in. So, very interesting.
So, Jude,
we've seen some interesting challenges. I like to see a different challenge every now and again. We've seen Medvedev challenging a foot fault that they had against him, and then we had Cam Norrie challenging a double bounce as well. So,
I didn't see that. When was that?
That was in the match against Casper Ruud.
Okay,
but he did get it. He did get it up. He was like, he got there in time. So it was interesting to see though when the
foot fault one, Ben. Sorry, it was. I actually have to say I saw it live. I mean, it's difficult to judge when you see it live, but then I saw the replay 2 or 3 times, and I was still thinking, I think he's been hard done by there. And luckily, it didn't cost him.
Very much hard done by. I think. Surely it has to be a clear foot fault. I didn't see. There was nothing clear about it.
No.
If it was like a hair or something on the edge of his trainer across the line or something.
So we've kind of gone old school, as in pre-pandemic here, with the whole challenge system, right? I mean, it's back to sort of how it used to be 2019.
Yeah.
In terms of 3 challenges, they're just nice when Medvedev breaks.
Yeah, he really does. Oh, that's what he can do to you.
Thanks, Kathy. It's great to have you with us once again as well. Just seeing a little comment there.
We got Jean in there as well. How are you doing, Jean? Appreciate Kathy and Jean sending in their tips last night. As you can see, Jean moved himself up to second on the ATP Tour Finals top tippers by when we had the Ben's Button Bonanza last night on Friday Night Special. he was buying buttons for everybody last night, Gene. So appreciate that, mate. It was a good one. It was a bit of fun, just because the match wasn't so fun. So we thought we'd extend the fun afterwards with a little Friday night drink up with a few button presses.
Oh, great! I missed that. I tell you what, I know JG touched on it a few days ago. But I do think if you do get the time, and it might be a lot of effort, to get some YouTube clips of various buttons. I mean, I have been in a situation in the last 12 months. I'm sure there's many of our audience have been, where it's like, oh, you got to see the Sinner button, or you got to see the Federer button. and I've had to go to matches and find a Sinner match, for example, and sort of quickly go through the match to hopefully because you never quite know where it might appear, and then eventually it appears.
Scroll it until you see that ridiculous Sinner dance, and then you're like, oh,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I know what you mean. I've done the same.
So yeah.
Well,
Gene has just sent another $10.
Gene, you are far too kind, sir. Really appreciate that, buddy. I will add that onto your leaderboard score there. And you get a player button of your choice. We're back up to last night was a special offer, $2 a button. Today we're back to 10, and Gene sounds like he wants another button again. So Gene, you can tell us which button that you would like today, because I've got so many locked in the chamber now from last night. You can have whichever one you want, mate. Good
defense there from Ruud, but eventually it does come to nothing. 15 love for Medvedev. And I guess if there's anything to say about, that break, it is kind of going to plan. I don't know how many games people, I mean, maybe it's a bit too early to suggest, but I guess everyone went straight sets. And I guess it was just a case of whether people thought that Ruud would take more than 10 games. Well, maybe less, I suppose. I mean, more than 8 games.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they played on hard court was ATP Cup beginning of last year, and Ruud was quite close. So 6-4, 7-6, I think. So it was quite a close match, but I think Medvedev's come on leaps and bounds since then.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he's obviously the holder of this title, but that was ATP Cup in January. Oh, that's a pretty wayward serve there from Medvedev. Yeah, I actually had a bit of a bad day yesterday, and I'd like to share it with you all, because I want to get it off my chest. I went to the fridge around about 2 p.m. yesterday. So if anyone thought that my comments were a little strange yesterday, or I seemed a bit moody, well, here's why. I went to the fridge yesterday around about 2 p.m. and opened it, and a bottle of beer fell out and just smashed everywhere.
Ah, that's terrible.
I know. I'm still thinking about it now, 24 hours later. Yeah, I'm all right. I mean, I went to. I thought my reflexes. I think a younger John might have caught it, but unfortunately, at 42, my reflexes, a bit like Federer, aren't quite what they used to be. And I went to just catch it before it fell, but I didn't even get my hand on it. Boom! It smashed everywhere. Every cloud, though. The smell of the kitchen yesterday afternoon was beautiful.
Oh, brilliant. Sticky floor, though, probably.
Sticky floor, yeah. I had to weigh up the whole thing of smelling quite nice, sticky and glass on the floor, and eventually sticky and glass had to go.
Yeah, you can't walk around in bare feet anymore.
No.
All right, we've got Medvedev here trying to consolidate the break. He's got a second serve out to Ruud's backhand.
Good question there from Matthew D'Souza. I hope D'Souza, sorry. Really good question. Have you seen that question?
Which one?
If they met, yeah, exactly. If they met at Rome or Roland Garros, who would you favour? Let's you go first, Ben.
I would actually favour Casper Ruud.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Right now, given what we've seen from Medvedev on clay over the last 2 years, let's say. I mean, he did actually do okay at Roland Garros, and he beat the players you'd expect him to beat. But I think right now, I'd go for Ruud. But I guess it's another 6 months away, really. So we'd have to see how Medvedev began on the clay. If he began like Bambi on ice, like he did last year, then we'd have to go with Ruud. But if he showed his French Open form, then it could be different.
Yeah, I think that he could. Well, Medvedev, I think he will eventually get better, and he will start edging a bit closer on those clay courts. I think, not to compare him, I don't think there's no comparison, but I think Murray, when he was sort of moving through his career, he wasn't that great on the clay in the French Open, at least. And then right at the latter stages of his career, you obviously saw him. He was in the final against Djokovic that one year. And he looked actually like he'd mastered the clay courts, which was great to see. I think Medvedev could do the same as well. He's a very intelligent player.
I think he could, and he's a very smart guy, you're right. But if you said to me, will he win a Roland Garros ever, I would say no. Just because I think he's got a long way to come from behind. He's a long run up, if you like, so to speak. He's got a long way to go. A little net cord there. And that drop shot didn't really work, but there's another net cord, and Ruud ended up winning a bizarre point. Yeah, I just think that I think you're right with the Medvedev point, and I think we saw it last year to some extent. I mean, actually, he probably exceeded. I mean, he beat 1 or 2 clay court specialists on the way. He beat the Chilean guys at Garin. Garin, did he beat on the way?
Yeah.
I think he beat him en route to the quarterfinals, and he lost to Tsitsipas in 3 very tight sets and finished on the match point where he did the underarm serve that just didn't work at all.
I know. It seemed like he just gave up a bit, and that's what you don't want to see. We saw sort of similar things from Bublik, I think, as well in that tournament, and just it bugs me when players look like they have just completely given up and start throwing it out there, not for a weapon. It's more like, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to throw stuff out.
Interesting. Now, I think it shows the respect he has for Tsitsipas, or lack of it, because I remember him on a hard court once doing an underarm serve about a year or so ago. It might have been at the ATP Finals, I'm not sure. And he just said that he didn't want to do it on match point because he thought that would be too disrespectful. But having said that, he had no qualms about doing it against Tsitsipas.
I don't think there's much respect or any love lost there. Anyway, we missed the consolidation. And don't worry, Gene, at the changeover, we'll get you your Lloyd Harris. Don't worry, mate. I'm not forgetting. We're just in these matches, we just got to make sure. Last night's match was a free-for-all because it was Djokovic Norrie. Oh,
is that in? Yes, it is.
Wow, that was pretty incredible if it was.
Yeah, backhand down the line there.
Yeah, he sort of maneuvered him out to the backhand side, and Medvedev just curled it.
He had nowhere else to go. I mean, he basically had probably a margin of about 20 centimeters maybe in terms of where he could put that ball, and that's exactly where he put it.
Could be a bit of a rout here today. There was my worst fears for this match is it could be like a double breadstick or something like that, and I don't want to see it at all. I want to see more of a competitive match, but Medvedev has the ability to do that to someone like a Ruud, especially on indoor hard.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about big threes a lot over the last decade or more even, but we have kind of, at least on a hard court and probably even more so indoor, and particularly right now coming into this tournament, there were a big 3, if you like. And Djokovic, I think, is maybe a bit lucky with his group, perhaps, but probably unlucky with his semi-final draw in that basically you would just want the 4th player, whoever that happened to be, and Medvedev managed to get it.
We got Matthew saying, Ben, Gene is pronounced John. He's South African. And Gene saying, yeah. John saying, yes, that's correct, Matthew. Well, why did you never say it before?
I think we've had this in the chat before. I remember going back 6 months ago, and this appeared. And
really,
for me, Jean is a French name, and
Jean. Is it
and
Jean?
I think it's Jean is the French pronunciation. But Gene's like, I don't care. I don't care, you know. So which is good for him.
He was Jean now, though, or Jean Pierre.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're so
Jean Pierre.
famous.
Yeah,
you're famous on the GTL streams as Jean now.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I just think I'm wondering if Jean in French is Sean. Actually, it might not be. It might not be John. I know. Just trying to think what it might be, but anyway, I think actually no, probably is John, because Jean Pierre is probably John Paul, maybe. No, because I think Paul is different. Oh,
anyway,
well, where am I going with this?
We're deviating away. Breakpoint saved there from Casper Ruud. We're back to Deuce here. And he needs to hold. That's the only thing I can say about Casper Ruud right now.
Yeah.
Has to hold.
I mean, if it is different, because Rublev is obviously nowhere near Medvedev's level, but this is going a similar way to yesterday's match against Rublev, which it did for a set and a half, as I say. I mean, I mean, it was a tight second set that could have gone either way. That Ruud ended up winning.
Well, that's the one thing that I would say about Casper Ruud, which has given me real encouragement this week, is he's come back from a set to love down twice and won. And I know, bear in mind, it's not Medvedev he's playing. He's played Norrie and he's played Rublev, but the level of competition's moving up each time. Norrie, and then what is he, 11th or something? And then you move up to number 5 in the world, and now you're moving up to number 2 in the world. Can he do it again? I don't think he's phased by going down a set anymore, because he starts playing hell for leather tennis. Like his life depends on it. And there you go. Big hold there for Casper Ruud. And don't worry, Jean, as I shall try and remember to call you now, Gene. There's your Lloyd Harris button. Lloyd Harris. Lloyd Harris. Lloyd Harris. Lloyd Harris. Oh, we're not going to start calling you Paul. Don't worry, Jean.
And Matthew D'Souza, I love what he says. In 12 months' time, I bet the same discussion. Yeah, I'm sure. It might be less. Probably be in a couple of months.
Well, JG's not here, so he guaranteed that he'll start calling you Gene again as soon as the next stream starts. He said, I don't mind how you say my name. Oh, hey, John. JG is in. There he is.
There you go.
Are you saying hey, John Silk, or hey, John as in Gene?
I think he means me, but you never know. Do we know what the 57 is, by the way? JG 57. Has that ever been his
favorite number?
Just his favorite number. Most people go for 3, or one or two people might go above 10.
Normally
like,
go for
you're going above
like date you were born on or something, but 57 comes from, I'm not sure where, but all I remember was it was pretty significant that I think it was the Rome final, was the 57th time Rafa and Djokovic had played.
Yeah.
And that was the one that Rafa beat him on, and that was why he was super happy on that day. Lucky number 57.
And then, of course, I think that there was just one between them after that, and I'm trying to do the maths now, but it was like 29-28, I think, to Djokovic going into the French Open semi. And there was so much riding on that, and that's probably more for an end of year show than for this semi-final today. But we can talk about that some other time.
That was, wasn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Are you got any specials lined up for Christmas and New Year in terms of review of 2021, etc.?
Yeah, there will be. Yeah, we'll be doing a review show. We will be doing an awards show as well, and we will be having a 2022 predictions show as well. So all of those things to come. Lots in the off season.
Really looking forward to JG's Wimbledon Dominic team prediction again. Like he did 12 months ago. Of course, team didn't even appear at this year's Wimbledon, so it's a pity because I was hoping for an early exit so I could rib JG about his prediction that team was going to have a good season on the grass.
Oh god, yeah, he was saying the other day he had team to win Wimbledon. We got JG saying I was 6 years old when I chose 57 as my number. Long story. It sounds like a long story. Many 6 years in the making.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, Medvedev now. That's good hold there from Ruud. At least he's keeping the score respectable. And while there's only one break in it, there'll be, he'll have a chance of getting back into this set.
Yeah, we actually have some exciting stuff coming up on the channel as well. We've been sort of networking with Head Tennis, and they're sort of trying to sort us out some more players for interviews, some interesting topics they want us to cover, like the Francisco Cerundolo interview, how to pack or how he packs his tennis bag, which was quite interesting. And we are actually going to be going to our first event as well.
Which one?
We'll be going to, it's more of an exhibition style event, but there's a lot of prestigious people there. It's in London. It's in the Royal Albert Hall. It's a Champions Legends event, which
great.
I've got access to. So we will be trying to bring you some behind the scenes footage from there. And,
what's the date for that?
It's on next weekend.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, big times coming for GTL. We're going to try and get in there and speak to some, absolute legends, some Grand Slam champions. And Raducanu, I believe, is making an appearance there as well, which is quite interesting.
Great. I had a unfortunate near miss, if you like, so to speak, last weekend. So I left Mexico last Saturday lunchtime.
Oh yeah, the
And
Rafa
a friend,
Academy.
yeah, right, exactly. And a friend of mine, she knew Felix's agent.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right. A friend of mine. Well, I say a friend of mine. It's not really. It's more an acquaintance. But she was on the same tennis course as me, and she said, "Oh, actually, I know this guy. He's a lawyer, and he used to be a lawyer, but now he's become Felix's agent." I was like, "Oh, cool." And she said, "Yeah, he's coming on Saturday, and he's bringing some bloke called Tony." I said, Tony, as in like the coach of Felix, so to speak. At least that was how I began it. She said, yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. I said, you do know who that is? And she's a tennis fan, let's say, but let's just say she's a very much on the surface fan. And I had to explain to her a little bit about Tony Nadal and et cetera, et cetera. So unfortunately, though, they arrived about 4 p.m. and I was on a plane out at the same time. So
that's sad.
I know.
Oh, well, that's interesting, though. John Silk gets around the world.
Yeah, and just misses out on just misses out on the cool minglings, basically. as it turns out, it's not even an anecdote.
No, it was close to an anecdote though.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Jean saying, "I'll message you after the stream. Want to talk to you about something, Ben." Okay. Yeah, Francisco and Juan Manuel are playing each other right now. Yep, that is true, Jean. I'm keeping one eye on that. And Francisco has taken the first set 6-1, bullying his little brother.
Andrew Castle versus Henman. That would be cool.
Andrew Castle. No, I think I'm not sure which players are going to be there. I think it's like Tim Henman and Red Ruzetsky, people like that. Boris Becker. Mansour Barami.
Nice. Boris Becker's going to be playing, is he?
I believe so. I need to check on the full listing of
playing, or just maybe there. I mean, I know he has some back issues. So
Thomas Enquist, I think he's going to be there as well. There's a real list. I'm not sure if David Ferrer as well. He might be there. So it's just a proper star-studded list.
I think while we're on this sort of old school theme, if you like, I'd like to know what either the first match you saw on TV or remember seeing, if you like, or your first Wimbledon or whatever. Also, if you actually had the chance to go to see some matches, the first match you ever went to see. So for me, my first Wimbledon was 85, more or less remembering Boris Becker. Certainly 85, 86, I remember those in terms of being on TV, etc. But the first match I ever went to see was Leighton Hewitt against the tall guy, Karlovic, in 2003 Wimbledon first round. Leighton Hewitt was the reigning Wimbledon champion, and he was the first Wimbledon champion to go out on the first day of the tournament, because of course the Wimbledon champion always used to open up, and he lost in the first round to Karlovic. First time in about 35 years to lose. So it was a good one to see.
Horrible first matchup, isn't it?
Yeah,
horrible first round. The biggest server on tour.
Is Karlovic still playing?
Yeah, he's still there or thereabouts. I think about 43 at the moment. Just still, like wandering around the tour, just serving, winning a few sets here and there. He's still always got this.
I think if you're a multiple slam winner, it's different. But if you're, if you've always been a sort of a mingler anyway, so to speak, or occasionally getting into the second week of a slam, it's not such a big fall, maybe, and that's why they keep going. And I don't know. I don't blame them. I don't blame you. I mean, I always think coming back to Andy Murray and the comments from Mats Verlander sort of saying he should just retire, I think that was a bit harsh.
Yeah, definitely was very harsh. Especially with someone so driven as Andy Murray. Like you can't tell that type of guy to retire. Like he decides when he retires. No one else. And thanks to Gene, who sent an offline tip again. He wants, by the looks of it, three more player buttons. So thank you, Gene. You look at him; he's towering up there in second. There's no Chassois on Cathy. Vance, you're going to have to do a lot to catch Jean. I'm going to have to get his name right eventually. Jean-Pierre. Maybe we should just, if you put your name in there as Jean-Pierre, then I'll never get it wrong again. If it's spelt Jean, I'm always going to say Jean.
I'm just wondering, he said his second name is Paul, or his middle name is Paul. So I think it's Jean-Pierre Paul, I think.
Jean-Pierre
Paul, but he said Paul, I think. Unless
is his second name,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, let's get back to this match for a bit. We're closing in on a business end because Casper Ruud, if he can break back here, he could level this up at 4 games all. So it's a very important one here. he's doing some good pace change up. Oh, he went for it. Is that
He
in?
went
No,
for
just
it. No.
wide. Oh, just wide down there. We got Deepu in saying, I'm back to my favorite YouTube channel. How you doing, Deepu? Always great to have you in. So many days running now. Always in.
Cool.
Great
Nice to have you in.
Regular. We've got Omar God saying, hey, Ben, what's your prediction for Djokovic Zverev later? You know who I'm going to be backing. I'm going to be backing the king to go through. I've got him winning the whole thing, so it's going to be tight. I reckon Zverev could even potentially get a set, but I think so. Djokovic will go through ultimately.
I agree. Djokovic in 3.
I think that's a safe one.
Yeah. In terms of the whole thing, I mean, I think really, I know the court speed is a little different. It has been mentioned, but you'd have to look at Paris Bercy as being both a recent and relevant gauge, and of course that would also suggest Djokovic would win the whole thing.
Well, I don't think it's as simple as that. It was pretty close between Medvedev, Djokovic.
It was, yeah, but when it gets close, Djokovic still seems to win.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, he wasn't the same Djokovic from the US Open final, that's for sure. He had made some adjustments and knew how to play Medvedev a lot better this time round. Will Medvedev have made adjustments and now know how to play Djokovic a bit better this time round? That's the question that everyone wants to find out the answer to. Or will Djokovic have made even more adjustments and then win more convincingly? Like, we don't know. Medvedev into the net here, though. Oh, a bit of a dodgy volley. He's hitting it back straight to him. He's gone with the lob. Yeah, Medvedev's a tall guy, but he's still staying in this rally. There it is. Well played from the Octopus. Deserves a button. He's been playing well, and we've sort of been, I don't know, not ignoring him, but we haven't really been giving him his due. It's like an impossibility to find a button on here now. I uploaded about 1,000 buttons. Casper RUUD here, serving to stay in this first set. A great forehand winner. If you are just joining us and you haven't hit the like button on the video yet, please hit that like button now and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're trying to hit 20. Well, if we can get to 22,000 subscribers, that's the next landmark. We got 25k underneath John there. That would be great to get to that at some point. But that one, a little bit more in the future, I can see. Maybe Australian Open. That would be a good target.
And Matthew De Sousa actually asking a good question about whether there should be a universal court speed in terms of the fact that obviously people are talking about Turin being too fast, Paris too slow, etc. And I think, first of all, I think it's almost impossible because you just can't control every single facet because things can be different in terms of the year and certain other conditions. The balls obviously get certain sponsorship at certain events.
Yes.
And who knows in terms of the height of the roof and how many people are in the stadium and what the temperature is outside and how that might affect things. So I think first of all, it's very difficult to control, and B, no, I think it's just great that everything's different in every sport. I mean, when you go to Old Trafford, it's different to when you go to go to Anfield or go to Stamford Bridge or whatever, and it's just different. And that's one of the great things about tennis is that we have the 3 significantly different surfaces. So we see 3 very different sort of players and results. And I think even the hard courts, yes, they're generally fairly close, but yeah, outdoors, indoors can be very different. We only have to look at Nadal's record compared to outside to inside. I think he's only ever won 1 major tournament inside in his entire career. Which was well early on in his career, I think in the first few years. And of course, he's never won the ATP finals. In fact, he's only ever been to the only got to the final twice, I think.
And that makes me raise the next question to you, which is, should the ATP Tour finals be played on a different surface every few years? Because it's predominantly only hard court players can win it. So no clay court finals, no grass finals.
No, but I do think the hard... You couldn't have it on grass pretty much because obviously the time of year.
Go to the right country, maybe.
Yeah, okay. You could take it to perhaps Latin America, etc. Yeah, or other parts of the world.
Weird grass there, though.
Yeah. So yeah. So I think actually, funny enough, I've heard that mentioned before in terms of why Messi doesn't do so well on grass in Argentina as he does in Europe. But that's another debate for another day. I think I know what you mean, but you know what? That the hard court is the sort of leveler in tennis, if you like, because you will get grass court specialists and clay court specialists, if you like, that sort of suck on grass and suck on clay, etc. And the hard court one is sort of the neutral one, so to speak. And it's a tournament. I mean, it's not. It's a tournament in its own right. It's like saying the US Open. Could you mix that up and play it on different surfaces, or obviously Australia as well? For me, the ATP Tour Finals indoor. It's just part of the indoor season. I think what I would like to see is, but there might be financial reasons they don't do this. I would like to see it move around on an annual basis, or even have it shared, like 1 year in Turin, 1 year in Lisbon, or something like that.
Yeah, right, mate. I've got to cut you off just quickly, just so we can have a game to love. Gotta remember, Gene wants Kvitova, Norrie, and Zverev for his $30 tip. So let me go down the list and see if I can find those for you. Wanted Kvitova.
Yes, it's yes, it's yes, it's Kvitova. Yes, it's yes, it's yes, it's Kvitova.
Right, well, I'll give you the other one after this game, Jean-Pierre. I'll give you, and then maybe if this is the end of the set, you can have both after this one. But if I'll give you one at the end of this game, you can have Norrie, and then you have Zverev after if it goes 6-5, let's say. But let's see how it plays out.
Yeah. So he's got a challenge here on a long sort of looping shot that just landed out. Yeah.
So Paul. Give him the prediction there. 6-4, 4-6, 5-7 for Ruud.
Oh, wow. You'll get pretty good odds on that right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
15 love. And just another looping shot there. Stays in on the backhand slice, but that's gone well too long. And Ruud is ruining that. He puts his hand against his face. And 30 love now.
Very... It's not concerning, but... You've got to do more with it. I mean, Medvedev wasn't doing anything with the shot himself. Ruud's in. Medvedev meets him there. 3 set points. Easy as you like.
Yeah.
12 Travel wants to know, where's JG watching Cerundolo versus Cerundolo in Brazil? I'm sure he would love to be in Brazil doing that. And Francisco is sort of tearing his younger brother apart right now. It is 6-1, 2 love. And his younger brother, Juan Manuel, trying to break back at a deuce at the moment. And there's Medvedev. He's done it. It is 6-4 for the Octopus. And we'll get his button out. A very solid first set.
One thing that is true, he knows what to do. Don't worry, if Cam Norrie's heading through. If one thing that is true, he knows what to do. Knows what to do. Don't worry, Cam Norrie's heading through. Sasha, Sasha, Sasha. Let's go. Sasha's very.
Oh, maybe we'll be seeing that one a few times later on tonight. Sasha Zverev there giving us a little dance in a lederhosen. Didn't spill a drop of his beer either, which is always interesting to see in that clip. Pleased, Jean-Pierre. I'm seeing some interesting comment. Paul reckons 6-3 Ruud in the second set. Interesting. Really backing Ruud for the comeback again. Is he the comeback kid? Is this what Casper Ruud's going to be known as after this tournament? Is he going to go all the way? Got a big wall in front of him in Daniil.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's very optimistic. Let's see. I mean, there's so many times I've watched matches, and one of the matches that springs to mind was earlier this year when Nadal wins the first 2 sets, and it looks like it's going to be a breeze for him against Tsitsipas, and then before you know, it's 2 sets all, and boom.
That's what they can do to you, these players. But let's go away just to have a look quickly at Francisco versus Juan Manuel Cerundolo. And 6-1, and Juan Manuel has broken back in the second set. It is now back on serve, 2-1, and well, he'll be looking to try and nick that second set. He doesn't want to lose in straight sets to his brother. That's not going to give him any bragging rights around the dinner table, is it, that one?
Right,
here we go. We're on starting. We're kicking off again. Casper Ruud to serve, and already love 15.
Yeah. How's this second set going to go? Is it going to be comfortable like the first, do you think, for Medvedev?
I think it could be. There's part of me that I want to see the Ruud resurgence. And then I think we're going to need to see something distract Medvedev, though. There's going to need to be like a foot fault thing, or someone flashes a camera in the crowd at him, or a streaker runs on the court, or something that just something
bit of spaghetti.
Something that just takes his mind off the job in hand and makes him, I don't know, become unfocused. Great winner down the line there from Ruud. Medvedev didn't bother challenging. That's the shot that I want to see more of from him. That's what he did to Rublev in the second set yesterday. Just started cracking forehands, flatter, better hitting. I don't like his clay court style on these hard courts because he lets it kick up so much. People like Medvedev and Rublev, they hit the ball downwards towards you with power then. For me, I think that's his best style, when he just goes, right, I've got nothing to lose now. Just going to try and hit the ball like Juan Martín del Potro.
Do you think we'll ever see him on a court again?
I think we will, but I don't think it's going to be in any challenging circumstances, I don't think. I just think that the years aren't kind. Father Time catches up on people. Good smash there from Medvedev.
Yeah. What was your first match that you either went to or recall watching on TV?
I think some of the... I'm trying to remember. It's really difficult because I know that the first matches I would have seen on TV were always Wimbledon.
Yeah, sure.
And I can't remember if it was Becker or if it was Sampras, though, because Sampras was all over the screens at the time.
Yeah, sure.
And I can remember watching him on court and remember just thinking like, wow, this guy is just like incredible. I remember watching him play Agassi many times and just thinking, God, this is like the best thing ever. These two playing each other. I hope that these two could play every week.
There was a Nike advert, I think, around the same sort of time where they were playing and it was just going back over the net. And I think beards were growing and McEnroe was in the commentary box. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I do remember that, actually. That's funny you should say that. I do, actually. That does ring a bell. Yeah.
Have you been to Wimbledon, by the way?
Yeah, well, I've been to Wimbledon, I'd say about 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
And I went last time. Obviously, I took JG for his maiden voyage to Wimbledon. It's like a kid.
I like the way you say it. I took JG like it's like taking your boy.
Well, it was like a kid in a sweet shop when he got through those gates. I've never seen someone so excited to be in Wimbledon. Yeah. So he got in there, and it was luckily that was the earliest I'd ever queued up from. So we queued up from about 10 to 5 in the morning. So
is this 2019?
Yeah, and so we were in pretty the queue barely took any time at all. I mean, it was 4 hours, but it felt like by the time you hit 8 o'clock, it was like we barely woken up, and it was already.
Can you remember which day it was?
Oh, God, I think it was the Thursday of the first week.
Okay, I went on the Friday of the first week that year.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it was just fun though. You're just planning your courts you're going to go to and where you're going to dot around, and just nip into the local shop that nobody knows about, the little local, and just grabbing some beers. Having them in the queue. They must make a killing, that shop.
Yeah.
So when Wimbledon's on, they probably sell out of everything.
I mean, I'm not quite as prepared as some, and my Fosters tend to get quite warm as the day progresses. But yeah, I remember going to see a doubles match actually towards the end of the day, and it's probably the most fun part of the day. Actually, I saw Kyrgios playing doubles, mixed doubles, and that was a fun experience. I think whatever you're seeing Kyrgios do, it could be watching him play Tiddlywinks, and I think it would be a lot of fun.
And yeah, very true. I think we got on to we actually had we got to see some really great matches. To be honest, got to see Big Steve Johnson versus Alex de Minaur was the 1st one we aimed for. Then after that, we went and saw John Isner versus Kukushkin. Then after that one, we went to a 5-set thriller between Martin Fucsovics versus Fabio Fognini. That was really
great.
Good. And then after that, we went to watch Diego Schwartzman versus Dominic Kopfer.
Oh my goodness, that's a pretty good lineup. I mean,
it's an amazing lineup. Yeah, we really selected them well, and
yeah, you did.
We managed to get seats like so easily on all the courts as well, which was great.
I mean, that year's Wimbledon in a way was overshadowed is the wrong word, but I mean, it was just the big three just swept everyone aside until they got to the semis, basically. And it was kind of on that element of things, it was kind of quite boring. But those matches you just highlight there, it's sort of the best of the rest. And it seems like they produced as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely did. I think that I was on the day that we were there. I think it was, I can't remember if it was Kyrgios. I think he was on centre. And like we could hear the centre court because I think, not sure who he was playing though. I don't think it was Nadal, was it?
Didn't he? He did go out to Nadal that year, I think.
I think it was, I think he might have been playing him on centre court and he took a set and you could hear the crowd go mental from where we were sitting watching, I think, Fucsovics versus Fognini, and you could just hear it in the distance, this massive roar. And we're like, oh, Kyrgios just taking a set.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He couldn't quite pull it off like he did a few years before, of course. But there was sort of tension going into that. I think the tensions between those two have thawed a bit as Djokovic has sort of overtaken in terms of Kyrgios's eyesight. But that was when things were a bit tense between those two, and you sort of feared for Nadal to some extent when he lost that set, but it didn't quite materialize.
Indeed. Right, back to this one after historic tennis matches. It's a double fault from Casper Ruud there, and he's going to challenge it. I'm not sure. I didn't really see it. It seemed like it skipped off the surface a bit, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely long. Realised I didn't bring any water in. I had a little juice, a little apple and mango juice. And
if you want to shoot off for a few seconds and replenish yourself.
Yeah, go on. I'm just going to go and grab just quickly another quick drink.
Okay, do it. I'll do a bit of commentary and maybe answer a few questions. So Ruud brings up 30-15. Can he hang in there in this set? I mean, that's what he's really got to do. He lost a break quite early on in that first set and never really recovered. If he can just hang on in there and just go with serve, so to speak, does he have a chance of perhaps even nicking this set? Let me know what you think in the chat. I did see one or two questions. I'll try and address those now. How will Ruud return Medvedev's serve? Well, I think we're seeing the answer to that, Gene. I mean, he's certainly struggling on that side of things. In fact, I think Medvedev hasn't even faced a break point yet. Yes, and I can imagine that JG was desperate to see Nadal. I don't even know if he's seen him as yet. What do you think was the most entertaining? Women's doubles in Guadalajara or men's doubles in Turin? Bjorn, I must say I can't help you on that because I've not seen doubles in either of those two tournaments. But what I can say is I did see quite a bit of, or some of the action in Guadalajara in terms of the singles. And I think so far, if I compared the two singles tournaments, so to speak, I think Guadalajara has produced more than Turin, but of course Turin we're still now at the business end of the tournament, so to speak, and who knows, maybe we'll see some fireworks over the next 24 hours or so, and of course that will define the tournament as to whether it will be a rival in Guadalajara. But for me, Guadalajara was a lot of fun. I saw what's her name? The Spanish girl who won it. Who's the Spanish girl who won Guadalajara? Muguruza. Yeah, I saw her in the first match, and she lost a tight first match of the round robin, and it just shows you what a great tournament it was in a way, and how these things can change. And I sort of felt a bit sorry for her at the end of that match because I thought, what a year that Muguruza has had. She sort of threatened to to do so much, and she had match points against Osaka in Australia, and you just have to think that she did that, she probably would go on to win the tournament, despite it being quite early on. And she sort of threatened to do so much at so many tournaments, but she kept getting, she was sort of, her seeding was a bit low, and she kept coming up against certain players that, and she was just struggling to make it to the sort of the last four or even the finals of so many tournaments. And so I was really pleased that she managed to turn that tournament around and ultimately winning it. And I think being a Spaniard but of Venezuelan descent, the crowd took to her and she took to the crowd in Guadalajara. And I couldn't have been happier to see her win. I would have liked to have seen maybe Sakkari make the final. I've got a soft spot for her, and I think she is somebody that suffers from nerves when it gets really, really tight at the end of certain matches.
I'd agree.
And she sort of she wears her heart on her sleeve. I saw the press conference when she lost to Raducanu, I think it was in New York, and you could see that afterwards she was really hurting from that. I think it was Raducanu she lost to in the semi-finals.
Yeah, it was.
So those two players, in a way, they're sort of players that are kind of in there. I mean, how old is Sakkari now? Is she in her mid-20s?
She's about 25, yeah.
Yeah, so her and Muguruza are sort of kind of these players that are there or thereabouts almost all the time, or certainly fairly frequently. Muguruza had a couple of bad years, but they're not quite, you know, in the same sort of bracket as Osaka and Raducanu to some extent, of being young and expecting big things and multiple slams. But you know, that players, and Sakkari in particular, of course, she's not won a slam yet. I don't even think she's been in a final yet, but
no.
I'm looking forward to the fact that I really do hope that she's not one of these nearly players, you know?
Well, I know I always put her far in a lot of the draw previews, and then she lets me down. But I feel like we should not giving this match the respect it deserves. John, we need to talk about these guys on the court. Daniil Medvedev, well, he's sort of cruising through his service games, and Casper RUUD needs to do the same, I feel, if he's to have any chance here of turning this around. Do you think the tie-break would be his best chances here in this second set?
Yeah, I did just sort of begin my blurb, so to speak, well, in your absence. I did kind of say that RUUD just needs to hang in there. What was disappointing with the first set was he lost his serve so early on. If he could just hang in there, and as you say, tie-break-esque, and then who knows? But what we don't want to see is in the next service game of RUUD is that Medvedev breaks, because he's holding serve so comfortably, Medvedev. I don't think he's faced a break point yet. So really, RUUD's best chance, as you say, is a couple of things. First of all, just hang in there. But secondly, as you pointed out, he's got to go for it on some of these shots, a bit like he did yesterday. I mean, now he's in a situation with almost nothing to lose. You know, if he loses this set 6-2, so be it. But you don't want to go out with a whimper.
No, he can't. I don't think there's a way of him beating Medvedev in just a regular rally on the court, and that's the key thing. Winners will defeat Medvedev. You're never going to win that baseline battle with him. It's just no point. And I think the same was true against Rublev as well. I don't think he would have won the baseline battle with him either. It's not got the firepower. He needs to reach in somewhere deep and just pull out massive shots. Just go for shots and put an extra 25% on what you'd normally hit and hope that you hit the winner.
There was a point in that Rublev match, I think he goes to the net and he loses the point, RUUD, and he looked really frustrated, both with himself, but actually even with his team as well. It was almost as if his team had said something about going to the net, and he sort of followed up their instructions and and lost the point. It's like, look, I told you so. It was almost like
he turned to them, didn't he? And he was like, this isn't
working. It was almost like, I told you so. It was almost like that. It was almost like he was given the instruction to do certain things.
You told me to go to the net.
And actually, from that moment, I think that was around about 2-love at the beginning of the second set yesterday. And from that moment onwards, as you say, lights out tennis, and boom, he wins the match.
Indeed. Yeah, guys, if you're just joining us for this one, give it up for John Silk and hit a like on this video, special guest appearance. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 25K. Oh, there's something on the court. Not sure what's going on.
Gerald there saying he's addicted to tennis more than ever before. And I have to say, Gerald, it doesn't go away. It continues. And just when you think that things are quietening down, you get a US Open like we had, or other big stories. So, yeah. What's going on now anyway?
They're like waiting for someone. He said, do you want to play or you want to keep going? That's the same thing, isn't it? Do you want to play or do you want to keep going?
I see Djokovic doing his post-match interviews in Italian.
He's just a bit of a legend, isn't he? Come on.
Linguistically, yeah.
Which language doesn't he speak?
No.
I'm surprised he wasn't doing like a Peng Shui, like pleading to China in Chinese or something to release or tell her where she is or.
Yeah, I mean that might be a good international relation thing to do, actually, to write in Chinese. Talking of which, by the way, Ruud now, as I was just saying, needs to hang in there. He's now love 30. Okay, call it then. Is Ruud going to lose his serve in this game?
God,
I'm saying yes. Quick.
I've got a bad feeling. I'm going to go the other way. Then I'm going to say no. He's going to pull out some good serves. Good one there. It's a great return from Medvedev, though. It's worrying. He's into the net, Medvedev. It's a terrible volley, though. We'll take it. We'll take it.
That's great, because you've almost got someone to support in this game in particular, because obviously you want to have a good match, but also knowing that you've just said that Ruud's going to hold his serve. And I thought, you're right, that return there from Medvedev almost set up the point for him.
Just hit landed right by Ruud's feet and completely gave him no opportunity to actually hit a decent ball back into court. Oh, I thought it was a good serve, to be honest. Just wide by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Now he's got a second serve to look at now here at the 15:30. Come on, Casper.
Get another good return in, Medvedev.
That's a good serve down the tee,
good
though.
Serve. Took a risk.
Oh, no, it's a bad shot.
Oh, I think the choice was right, but the execution was poor.
He went off an angle. Don't know. Needed it more straight. And now we got 2 break points. And he's going to need 2 big serves. Otherwise, this match could unravel very, very quickly. And we could be looking like we're heading towards my predicted scoreline of 6-4, 6-2.
Oh, is that what you went for?
Yeah.
That's almost a pummeling. I mean, it's not quite Norrie Djokovic level, but
I mean, it's an expected level, though. It's like a gradual, staggered beating.
What's that on Medvedev's arm, by the way? Has he had a tattoo or something?
Not sure.
He's got some sort of taping on his arm there. It looks like a taping anyway. Maybe it's the kind of taping you'd expect if he had just had a tattoo done and he was having it covered.
Wouldn't it be funny if he unveiled it afterwards and it says ATP Tour Finals Champion 2021?
Yeah. At least with a 1, I guess you could change it to a 2 at some point. If that
or he just leaves
it
as 20 or just like 202 and he just waits for the last bit.
Yeah, right. Look, he's got something on his arm. Can you see that?
Yeah, it's like looks like a sleeve or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, some sort of sleeve. Yeah, maybe that's an injury.
An elbow thing. Yeah. Oh, that looked close, that serve.
I thought that was him.
What a challenge, but now he's got a second serve to look at here. Daniil, he's asking him to wait.
Okay.
Not sure what's going on. They keep on waiting.
Such a funny guy.
I know, just delaying Casper RUUD's serve. He runs around his forehand there, Medvedev. That's an unusual one.
It's almost like the guy who challenged JG, who was hitting backhands all the time. Oh, he's gone long.
Oh, it's long from Medvedev, and he's wasted 2 break points. Casper RUUD will be happy. He'll want to try and hold his serve here. Cappy's saying if it's a tattoo, it's got to be an octopus. I think you're right. Surely has to be. Arjun reckons it's going to go 3-2. I'm guessing that will be the next score, mate.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's class.
Oh, great smash.
Rude. Now, what's Medvedev having a little bit of a complaint there about something? I don't know what.
I don't know. He's always... This is what I mean. If there's something that will start annoying him, that's the thing that will get Ruud back into this match.
That was a good sort of...
double bounce? I think it was about the maybe possible double bounce.
Yeah. That was class. That was class.
Oh, I like this.
Look at this. Just touch. That's nice.
Oh, just missed it down the tee. Yeah. Come on. Oh, there we go. Clinton
could be
saying it's the kinesio tape. There you go. That's what it is.
Yeah, kinesio. I think that's something like that. Yeah.
Oh, what a shot.
Oh, it must have clipped the net because he's put his hand up. It looked like a clean winner to me, but it must have clipped the net because Medvedev just stuck his hand up to apologize.
Oh, Yeah, Arjun, try to refrain from writing scores in the live chat, even if they're the wrong scores. If you can write a prediction, we don't mind predictions.
Shake to see Ruud in the final.
Oh, that's a
good
great serve.
I
Can
think.
he smashed
He's
it?
got it,
Oh,
yes.
brilliant. Go on, Casper.
Facing two. This will be a big hold from him. Facing 2 break points. Plus, of course, as you say, that little distraction there for Medvedev at 15:40. I was looking good for my prediction. 7.5 minutes now this game.
Davina, all the way from Mauritius, saying it's a written FIFA as a tattoo, maybe.
Maybe. In the game, he's a big fan, isn't he, of the soccer game?
Looking at the stats board for this one, I think it's sort of summing it up why it's not sort of come to life. Look at the unforced errors to winners count. I mean, for both Medvedev, 18 unforced errors and Ruud, 17 unforced errors. Hasn't been a match littered with winners at all,
No.
really. It's
actually
not been...
for Medvedev, that would be quite disappointing, quite concerning, I would have thought.
Well, yeah, exactly. But he can't afford to fall off more.
I mean, for Ruud, when in terms of the way he's got to approach this match, as we say, he's got to kind of be a bit more aggressive. That is, you'd expect a few more unforced errors, but Medvedev, that's considering. He's gone wide there, back to deuce.
Like that's why he's got to.
Yeah, he's
like
got
you were
to.
saying.
Yeah.
He's got to go for it. So that's another unforced error. It adds it, levels it up at 18 apiece.
But yeah, I think Medvedev, he's not going to win the final should he be there with that kind of level of 18 unforced errors in a set and a half. I mean, if he goes 3 sets in a final, that'd be like 30 plus unforced errors.
Exactly right, man. Yeah, guys, if you're just joining us and you haven't hit the like on this video yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Great drop shot from Ruud. Medvedev into the net. Great volley in from Medvedev. Break point.
By the way, there's been some great questions in the chat today, and I haven't been able to address them all. So feel free to tweet any of these questions. Some of them have been aimed at me, I think, and feel free to tweet me at JSilk with any of these questions because I'd love to address some of them.
I saw one of them. It's probably flown past saying, has the heating broken in your flat?
I'm glad we addressed that. Well, do you know what? The hair's just out of control. I went out on my bike this morning to run an errand and came back and I just thought I'll keep the hat on. Actually, it's not too bad, the temperature today. Actually, that's why I've got the jacket open and there's a thin t-shirt on. It's actually about 10 degrees today, which end of November in Germany is not too bad. We've got the Christmas markets here now on the go, of course, so things are quite exciting. Oh!
It's into the net from Ruud. And it is the break of serve. Daniil Medvedev on course. Oh, dear.
10 minutes, that game, and that was one that Ruud kind of just had to hold. You would think,
Really?
given the fact that he's not... I mean, I don't know how many points he's won on the Medvedev serve today. I can think of a couple of games where maybe he got to 30, but he's not even got to deuce, I don't think, on Medvedev serve. Never mind have a break point.
No, I think you're right as well. I think the last one was to 15. Before that was to 30. Before that, yeah, there's been game to love, 15. There was a deuce.
Oh.
But three, well, he's already up a break, but yeah, when it went to deuce. So there's not been many. There's been one deuce in the whole match. Right. Not really good enough. Not making enough inroads on that Medvedev serve, but it's so difficult.
I mean, listen, Rublev said something a year ago when I think he sort of lost his first 2 matches in the round robin stage last year, and he lost them quite badly. I think he won his 3rd match, but I think it was a dead rubber. And I think forget who his opponent was, and he was already... I think whoever his opponent was already through at the semis. Might have been Dominic Thiem. And Rublev just said, listen, for me at this point in his career, he was like, I haven't really played any of these guys, and I need to play these guys more, and I understand that. Or it hasn't really changed much from in the 12 months since, but I do get that. And I think Ruud just needs to play Medvedev and Djokovic and Federer, perhaps less so, but he needs to play these top level players, Zverev, more and more often, especially on surfaces like indoors and hard court, where he might not be quite as comfortable as he would be on the clay. So yeah, and I understand that. It would be surprising if he was to come back today, but you just got to play them more and more often. We've often seen some of these matchups at the beginning where a certain player will win the first 3 or 4, for example, and then suddenly, including Medvedev, for example, I'm sure some of his early matchups against, for example, Nadal, I think he lost his first 4 or 5 matches, and yet he suddenly sort of started to turn it. I think he's won certainly the last one at the ATP Finals last year. And that's what you need. You just need to play them more and more often. Tsitsipas against Nadal is another one, and you see who is it who Medvedev lost the first sort of 4 or 5 against, and now he's just started to turn it. I mean, Djokovic is possibly one, and you just got to play more and more often, and I think Ruud needs that.
Zverev as well. Medvedev lost his first 4 meetings with Zverev.
That's right, exactly. Now he's worked it out, and we saw as well with the Federer and Nadal, with the way that went. In terms of Nadal seemed to have his upper hand, and in the last 4 or 5 years of that thing that Federer's kind of worked it out, if you like.
Yeah, and there's another poor shot there. It seems like it's the poor drop shots being played from both players, and Medvedev with a terrible one there that bounced right up, Ruud straight in, finished it off. And this is sort of a battle of who can hit the least unforced errors, really. This match will win the match by the looks of it. At the moment, Medvedev just ahead, and it's proving that's winning it for him.
Yeah, but you would back Medvedev normally. That's why I'm surprised it's so. Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
that is nice.
Beautiful drop shot that time. Ironed out the error from his first one.
Are you a drop shotovich kind of player, Ben?
Yeah, I like a drop shot. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I used to have a very formidable lob. That was why I liked to drop shot, because I used to chop it in, and I think I could lob. It just always landed in the lob on the baseline. I managed to get a great topspin thing on it or every time. And I remember at one point when I was playing, I just kept on hitting the same lob all over and over. And even in doubles, it was great as well. When 2 players came to the net and watched them scamper into the back of the court and then going into the side net, or like the cage that the court was made out of. Yeah, it was great fun back then. Wish I could get back on the court again. As you're making me jealous seeing you on the court, mate.
Yeah, I had a good time in Mexico. Certainly a good time, and hopefully I improved a little bit. And of course, now we're in the winter here, in deep winter almost in Germany, so it's kind of indoors only now. But I'm not really a big fan of indoor hardcourt. I like to be outside as and when. And can't wait for. I mean, by February, March again, the clay courts are possible. It's not quite like the grass where you've got 6 weeks in June, July where you can play, and that's about it. With clay, you can pretty much play once it's dry.
Oh, Ruud trying to drop shot again, and this was the fear. When you get broken once in the second set, then it was going to start all unraveling for Casper Ruud, and Medvedev only gets stronger in these matches. Second set.
Have we had another challenge, JG, since the first one, or is it still was just a look at the
one? We haven't. Yeah, we literally haven't. We've had a pretty congested calendar, and both been very sick over the past month, or say month and a half. Yeah, it's not made life easy. We've still been trying to do the streams and cover the matches,
and the weather doesn't help as well.
Yeah, I've been terrible. I was like nearly a month with illness. It was horrible.
You're really going for it, and hats off to both of you. But yeah, I can imagine.
It was, I know. It's first sickness since the whole COVID thing's been happening around. So I'm guessing just taking a long time to clear it. That was all. Body's not used to
COVID things that I mentioned about 5 minutes ago. We've had the whole Christmas markets just open up here in Germany, but no sooner have they opened up, the 2 regions of Germany, Bavaria and Saxony, have already closed their markets pretty much for good. And it wouldn't be surprising if the whole country follows suit, because COVID is raging once again here.
Yeah, in Austria, they've
completely locked down.
Gone into a big lockdown. Yeah, very sad, especially around the Christmas period as well. But ultimately, that's the time when everything's going to completely go crazy again, with too many people interacting and families meeting. And
I got my old booster jab about 4 weeks ago.
Oh, nice one, mate.
Yeah, a couple of that's nice there, Ruud, getting about to 30. Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I was going to Mexico, so basically it wasn't a bad idea to to get the booster, especially as I also, second reason, I had Johnson Johnson for my first one, which is one of the less efficient ones, if you like. And then finally, I was playing tennis with a doctor, so that all sort of worked out quite well.
Got one on court.
It wasn't far off. It was certainly only a couple of days later anyway.
Right, Ruud serving. Oh, what a shot down the line from the octopus. Finally uses his tentacles for what they're meant for. An amazing winner. Always happens if you press it mid game, is they lose the next point during the button. Don't know why that happens, but
yeah, you sort of look down, you watch an octopus. I mean, do the ATP finals not realize we've got buttons to press?
Exactly. I know they could at least wait. Good serve there.
That's why.
It's terrible.
Wayward.
Rude. It's gone too powerful.
Yeah. I mean, that's where you need players like Nadal and Djokovic really to wait for us to press the buttons.
Yeah. Right. Well, break point again. 2 break points taken out of 8 so far for Daniil Medvedev. Let's wait and see if he can take this one. Good return. It's hit the baseline somehow. He always does it.
Yeah.
Looped that one up a bit, didn't he? He's playing it into Ruud's backhand. He knows where the weakness is. Now he's gone into the forehand side. Now down the line, and he goes with power. Oh,
did he go
Ruud's
long?
Challenging. He's challenging it. He didn't even want to continue
no,
the rally.
He's challenging it, yeah. Well, he's taking a risk
wise. There. I don't know if that's wise. I think this could be the beginning of the end for Casper Ruud.
I mean, if he's right, but he could well have won the point anyway with the amazing lob as it turned out. It's a defensive lob.
Idea. It's well in. Yeah, it's right on the line. I think that was the sign of defeated person there.
I mean, he's lost his serve there. But the thing is, sorry, Ben, but I mean, he's really cost himself.
I'm sad. The sign of a broken man is this when you start challenging before the rally's even over and you're still in it. He's still got this next shot in.
Yeah, sorry, I disrupted you there mid-flow.
That's right, mate. No, it's fine. Yeah, it's sad though, just to see that. That's just the mindset that he's obviously in right now. Is he's looking for a way to, like, I don't know, get Medvedev. Well, hoping that Medvedev's missing more than he is hoping to play his own shot. Because look, that lob went in on the baseline.
I mean, Medvedev's in trouble.
Yeah, it was a great lob. He was on the stretch, great lob, chose to challenge and ends up losing and getting broken. What a time to do that, the challenge on break point.
Yeah.
Terrible. And now, 12 travel. Who predicted 6-4, 6-2 again? Any guesses? Well, the guy who's been getting pretty much every match prediction right this week. I don't know how it's been happening, John. I don't know what's going on this week. I've got some sort of crystal ball I've been looking into before every match, but it seems to be going the way. And this is I think I haven't been predicting all the scores. I've been predicting the sets mainly, but this today I just thought 6-4, 6-2 sounded about right. Sure, a lot of people must have thought the same though.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to. I mean, I think Ruud has reacted there in a. He's just reacted to that, thinking it's sometimes when you see the ball before it even bounces, you're going, oh, that's out, and then you realize it's just dropped in. I think he's pretty much already reacted to that, and just to sort of try and paint the picture one more time, he's managed on the stretch get a defensive lob. That's a nice shot. That well,
Nice
and he's just on the defensive there. He's managed to get up his racket on, and not only that, he's actually managed to lob Medvedev, who's probably thought he's won the point with his shot. And now Medvedev is in huge trouble, but of course he's called it out and he lost his challenge, so he's lost the point. Now though,
making some terrible decisions here. He's on the back pedal. That's going long. What's happened to Medvedev in this game? He's done 2 shots, which are not good at all. Very concerning, has to be said. Terrible drop shot that was from Zverev. Zverev. I'm doing what JG was doing the other day, calling Medvedev Zverev. Well, I'm just getting ready for the next match, I think. Yeah. Great serve, blocks back in. Can Ruud find a way back? Medvedev takes it on the bounce. No, Ruud's got him on the run. Oh, what a shot, Medvedev.
Yes. Took it early as well, which is what he had to do.
Oh, Orchid Panda in saying, good morning, 6:30 a.m. I just woke up to this. Well.
Does he mean this as in the match or you and I?
Better late than never.
No, welcome and thanks for joining us so early. Where are you, by the way?
Yeah. Oh, it's a good shot. Terrible shot there from Zverev again. Medvedev. It's not.
But he's got away with it,
Medvedev.
Joker or Zverev, Hambo us. I'm going Joker in 3.
Because I keep reading that comment. That's why I kept looking at that comment, and it's distracting my my brain. Misses the first serve.
She's
2 points.
Just got her appointment for a booster, and she's getting Pfizer. I had the same. Pfizer was my booster.
Pfizer.
I hope. I hope
to the net. Sorry, John.
Match point.
Go on.
Yeah, I hope Medvedev's okay with that. I mean, he's not showing any suffering, but in terms of that sort of huge plaster he's got on his arm,
no, I think he's all right. Misses. Oh, he would love to have finished with an ace. Would he go for a big serve on the second serve? Is the question. Sometimes likes it.
He's not going underarm.
Oh, it's good enough. There is the volley, and he puts it away. 6-4, 6-2. And the Octopus cruises through to the final of the ATP Tour Finals. But who will he meet? Zverev or Djokovic? Just like that. Daniil Medvedev reigns supreme, it would seem, in this match. Let's go over just quickly, just to have a quick look at how that other match finished between the Cerundolo brothers. It actually finished in 2 sets, 7-5 in the second. Francisco beating his brother, Juan Manuel. Well done to Francisco. Big shout out. I'm sure he's not watching because he just finished the match, but that's fine. But yeah, we got the big match later on. It's Zverev, it's Djokovic. That's the more competitive semi-final, as we know. How do you see that one playing out, Mr. Silk?
I think Djokovic is obviously the favourite, world number 1. He won the Paris tournament, although I don't think he met Zverev en route. At least I don't recall him playing Zverev there. Of course, the most recent meeting that I remember was the US Open semi-final. Yep. Very different situation, but no, I see Djokovic. You know, he's that after that blip in the final against Medvedev, he's shown no mental fatigue from that. And you know, he bounced back in Paris, and he's continued similar vein. I mean, he won all 3 of his group matches without dropping a set, I believe. So he has to be the favorite going into this. That's not to say that Zverev can't win. Zverev needs to basically have a good service day. If Zverev's serve is at his absolute peak, he can absolutely win. The trouble is that Zverev finds it quite difficult to maintain that over 3 sets, and even more so over 5, which is why one of the reasons why his Masters results have been better than his Slam results, so to speak. Yeah. So I see there being a couple of times where you've basically got probably the best server in the world against the best returner on the world, and it just depends on who has the better day regarding that. And I see it being Djokovic. What about you, Ben?
I'm sort of leaning towards Djokovic. There's just part of me that thinks that when he's got the bee in his bonnet and he wants something, it's hard to deny him. He seems fresh. He seems like seeing that match against Norrie. I mean, it was just, he barely even got out of first gear. He didn't even have to try.
I thought that was quite significant in a way against Norrie, that his motivation was super high as well. We have seen with Djokovic, once he's through, for example, I think last year, I think he lost his 3rd match, if I remember rightly. I also remember him in Austria. I think it was in Vienna when he'd already wrapped up at the world number 1 end of year. I think that was last year as well, where he sort of just sort of tanked a match, so to speak. And we do see that sometimes from Djokovic, or he looks at the bigger picture and he thinks, I need to reserve my energy, etc. Well, he certainly reserved his energy last night in terms of smashing Norrie off the court and then also managing to delay today's match to the evening. And so I think with that in mind, I mean, it was a bit crazy having Djokovic on first today. That was a bit of a crazy scheduling. So yeah, it makes sense. And yeah, I see him really. I mean, he's at the top of his game. And when Djokovic is at the top of his game,
no one can beat him. That's the problem, and or very few people can beat him. The thing that I see with that match is if Djokovic, well, the way that he just did what he wanted against Norrie yesterday. I mean, it's not the same competition, but he knew he didn't want a long match, and you saw the amount of points won under 5-shot rallies. I think he had like 25 to Norrie's like 3 or something ridiculous. That's how much he knew he just wanted a short match. He's just going to go for winners, and he's hitting the ball well. For me, I think the only way Zverev gets a set is if he wins a.
No, he's good.
Yeah, he doesn't make errors.
In top form,
but you have to hit winners against him. That's the thing, and you have to wipe him off the court because he gets everything back.
Yeah.
Couldn't get everything back, and Djokovic just toyed with him. It was easy, and I think the only way Zverev in this match gets a set is via a tiebreak, and if he doesn't, he could lose in straight sets.
Yeah,
that's my personal opinion.
For Zverev fans out there, I'm sure there'll be some of them going, "Hang on, my man's got a chance." He has.
Yeah.
It's just that Djokovic is favourite.
I think if Zverev was to win, he'd have to win 2 tiebreaks. That's my personal opinion.
But I wouldn't be shocked if you said to me, that any permutation. I think, even Zverev winning in straight sets, if it's 7, as you say, 7-6, 7-6, I'm not blown away by that, because now we're looking at, since Wimbledon, pretty much these 3 players that we've now got left in the tournament, these have been 3 standout players. I mean, they were all semi-finals at the US Open. You've obviously had 2 of the 3 in the final as well. We saw how Paris
Olympic champion as well.
Yeah, it's Olympic champion, exactly. Cincinnati, was it Zverev won as well?
Cincinnati as well, yep. Masters champion.
Basically, all of the big tournaments, with the exception of Indian Wells, have had these 3 players, and Djokovic, of course, wasn't at Indian Wells. Have had these 3. Toronto, yeah, exactly. You've had these 3 players at the in the final or in the semis. So this is what we want, and therefore Zverev has a chance, absolutely. And we have seen Zverev trouble Djokovic in the past, but he just can't quite get it over the line. In Australia, I think he was he 1 set to love up, and I'm not even sure if he pushed him to 5 sets in Australia. I think it was 4 in the end, but he 4, really had a chance. But he had a chance against. I think it was a breakup. I think it was a set and a breakup against Djokovic in Australia. And you thought, whoa, hang on a second. We also saw in New York as well, when he pushed him to 5 sets. I think he was 2 sets to 1 down, Zverev, but he then won the 4th set, and you thought, hang on. But
you can
Djokovic
do that, though.
Always prevails, pretty much.
Well, there's always a turning point in those 5-set matches. Djokovic suddenly just says, I'm not having this anymore. And just turns on God mode, or whatever mode that he turns on, where he doesn't miss, he gets everything in, he gets you running more than he's running on the court. And when he starts doing that and maneuvering you left to right into the net, or lobbing you, and pretty much you're like a puppet down the other end of the court. That's what he was doing. That's what he's been doing all of this tournament to his opponents. Rublev looks, I know people say Rublev didn't play well. He didn't serve well. But in the rallies, he was completely outclassed. He didn't stand a chance against Djokovic. And the same went for Ruud, was his biggest opponent, really, that in this tournament, which is crazy to say so far.
The other thing as well is that if you talk about a chink in the armor of Zverev, and if you talk about a strength in the armor of Djokovic, who has strengths all over, arguably the 2 chinks and strengths are up here. And
always.
That's where Zverev, I think that's the difference between Zverev winning a slam and not winning a slam so far in his career. Against the team in that US Open final, he just collapsed mentally. I think when it got super tight in that semi-final against Djokovic this year at the US, and also in Australia as well, I think it was just a mental thing. So, and that's, you just know that Djokovic is not going to falter at that point. So if it does suddenly get tight tonight, and listen, again, it could be a 3rd set tiebreaker and Zverev wins, and that would be amazing for his confidence. But we know how Zverev gets, and we know how that serve he will have every sort of 10 matches or so, he will just throw in a really crazy service match. And And that's something you just don't really see from Djokovic. By the way, I saw a question from Michael, which we touched on before the match started, I think. Did Djokovic have the schedule changed today, Ben?
I think he must have done. I don't think that he would have stood for playing a late match and then being pushed on early against the third best player in the tournament for his semi-final. If he was playing Casper RUUD or someone like that, I'm sure he would have not probably. They would have probably just left it. Yeah. But the fact he's playing Zverev, it's not going to be an easy match, and he needs some recovery time as well. Despite it was an easy match against Norrie, he still wants to have a fair roll of the dice, and I think it is fair. I think put that one in the evening match. They normally put the bigger match on later anyway. The crowd have a few beers, they get a bit rowdy, get a bit better atmosphere in there, and I think it's going to be a quality match. The only thing that would worry me if Zverev wins, I think Medvedev sort of has his number. That's the only problem in the final.
Oh, yeah, right.
A little bit. I think he played well against him in this ATP Tour Finals. It was quite a close match.
Did he go to a third set tie break?
I think it was a third set. Let me just double check that.
It was only a third set, and it was tight.
It was definitely a third set. Well, Medvedev, this is the first match that hasn't gone to 3 sets today. He's been to 3 sets 3 times in the group stage.
Really? So he's got sort of in a way kind of struggled through, but
yeah, it was close in the final set tie break, and he had to play him in 2 tie breaks as well. But ultimately, I think he has the mental edge over Zverev, but I think so does Djokovic. But I think it's it's very fine margins, like you said. It's just about getting that mental side up.
In terms of competition, I mean, I'd love to see a bunch of newbies, and I love to see underdogs, etc. But in terms of actually just seeing 2 more great competitive matches, doesn't get much better than having these 3 as the final 3, so to speak.
Definitely not, mate. Well, I appreciate you coming in and filling in for JG this afternoon. I'll let you get on with your day now, whatever it is that you're doing with your afternoon over there in Germany.
I'm going to actually tune into a Premier League match. Man United are about to play Watford.
Nice.
Hopefully it won't depress me like the last few weeks.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this one, please always remember, hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. A big thanks to John, and join. I'm probably just be myself later on. I'll be covering Djokovic versus Zverev. Make sure you do not miss it. That one is the match of the tournament so far. Who will meet Medvedev in the final? But for now, over and out. See you soon, John. Bye-bye.